Please welcome to the stage Krunali Patel.
So today, I wanted to spend some time on what value means in a corporate environment. My career at TI spans over 23 years now. I graduated from Michigan State University in '96 and joined TI and haven't been anywhere else. So one might wonder what have I been doing there for 23 years. It's been a very, very rich and energizing experience, spending time with people that I love to spend time with and making products, including some that made to the moon, that solve important problems for the world. So that has been a really great journey, and as part of my journey, I've spent time in various roles. I started my career as a design engineer, doing verification. I've done systems and marketing, I've led businesses, I've led R&D teams, and my most recent role is in leading a central organization that delivers tools, systems, and infrastructure for an analog product. So it's been a mix of different experiences, and today what I want to share with you is how I have seen value and how it has been quite a challenge, not just to understand value, but to deliver it in a sustainable way, and what value means when it comes to people, products, and government solutions. So there are many components to creating value, but there are many mindsets and behaviors that go in sustaining value. And as I was preparing for my thoughts for today's talk, I asked my daughter, who is right in the family. She's a Wolverine. She's finishing her senior year at University of Michigan, doing her bachelor's in public health. And I just asked her, so what do you think of value when I talk about value for a company like Texas Instruments? And she was quick to tell me, well, value is obviously the first thing that comes to my mind is monetary value. But then she quickly went on to talk about, I would be very much interested in understanding the purpose of what the company does, its impact to humanity, and more importantly, how the company does what it does, and how ethical it is about making the profits that they make. And that was quite, of course, she's my daughter and I'm a proud mother, so everything she says feels like, whoa, I have this wisdom at her age. But that was fascinating to hear, because this is exactly in line with what has been pointed as an example recently from the Business Roundtable, where 181 CEOs came together and talked about the commitment to stakeholders. So traditionally, in the economic sense, we've always talked about value of a publicly held company like TI as return to shareholders and maximizing return to shareholders. But the shift in the thinking is also not about return to shareholders. Of course, that will always remain true, but it is also about commitment to stakeholders and about the purpose. And so what they got together and did is talk about what is the commitment to stakeholders and who are these stakeholders. So beginning with our customers, this is where we want to make sure we are meeting and exceeding expectations of our customers. Secondly, is also our employees. This is about making sure that this is not just about fair compensation, but also about making sure that we have ways and means of training, educating, and creating an environment that fosters diversity and inclusion, and that's what leads to innovative products. This is also about our suppliers. In just making a semiconductor product, there's a lot that goes into making a product. It's not just about the ICs, but it's also about our manufacturing, the equipment, the tools, and energy, everything that comes together. So being good partners to our suppliers is a key element of the stakeholder community, as well as our communities, where we're giving back and also making sure that there is respect for the people in our communities to protect the environment. You heard a lot about climate change as well. This is another key element. And of course, our shareholders who invest in the companies and to make sure that we are able to grow and sustain these companies. So this is a very well-rounded proposition. Goes way beyond just providing returns or maximizing returns to our shareholders. So this is what value means in many different ways. The harder part comes to how do we really not just define value, but also deliver value. So for the rest of my talk, I'm going to talk about what are the three main components that when it comes to delivering value. It's about the people. It's about pointing the people to the problems that are worth solving, which includes a lot of our interactions with our customers. And it's about creating differentiated products. So each one on its own can do a lot of different things, but the right solution comes together when the people are pointed to the problems to solve them in an innovative way that drives differentiation. So when it comes to people, I want to share a story from a very early part of my leadership career at TI. We were making a custom product for a camcorder. How many of you have camcorders today? Yeah. So this was a very demanding customer. My older daughter was about 3 at this time. Since the product was custom, we had to design it to the specifications for the customer. The level of accountability on making this product successful was enormous. The customer would send a team of engineers to Dallas every quarter, and they would come as a team, literally 7 to 8 people, and they would sit one-on-one with our engineers, and they would have a printed list of all the waveforms that they would want to check to make sure that the product was designed to the specifications, down to every waveform level. And since they had these reviews packed in a week, these were intense times, so we would be in there sometimes till 2 a.m. in the morning because they wanted to make sure everything was checked out. I had a little trike in my office because my husband worked at TI2 at that time, so sometimes we would just hand off my older daughter at the end of the day, and sometimes we could hear her giggling around on her trike in the office because she was waiting to be picked up. So I'm describing a very, very energizing event which involved a lot of hard work as part of this, where it was a whole team coming together under a lot of scrutiny from a very demanding customer, but still having room to have the ability to challenge and innovate in this environment. So it was fascinating for me. For me, the roots of leadership and how a team comes together to deliver solutions happened in that program. And we went on, the product finished, but we were not able to launch. And why? Because it didn't make financial sense to launch the product at that time, because some things changed in the market and it was no longer as important to the customer. So that was quite a depressing moment, but what I distinctly remember from this is one of the engineers, we had a mix in the team, we had several new college grads, we had some people with 10 years of experience at that or less, and some who had more than 10 years of experience. And one of the early career employees came into my office and he was devastated. It was like the end of the world that this was something we had worked on it so hard. It was like a project that would have received an A+ grade. I mean, I could literally hear the grade mindset in the conversation. And remember, I was early in my career, so he came to my office and he said, this is not right. Why can't we take this product to production, etc. And I tried to explain to him what was going on. I clearly don't remember what exactly I told him, and I think I don't want to remember what I told him. But a few years later, this is someone who is still at the too. He was relating this story to a few people, and he goes, this is something that I will never forget. This was the most coaching moment of my life. And I'm like, okay, what did I say? I want to know what I said. And he said, no, you just said stuff like this happens, and we're better off making products that are just going to make money as well, and are not just innovative. And I cringed. I'm like, was I so heartless? And I looked at him, is this exactly what I said? He said, yeah, you pretty much said that. But what I really appreciate from that dialogue with you at the time was that you were honest about what happens in a corporate environment, but it also became one of my best coaching moments and was very formative for me to understand that things change, and when things change, we need to move on. And for me, it was really a very humbling moment just to see how people came together and what the criticality of the culture that fostered innovation was, as well as the challenge of leadership in not just being able to make those tough decisions, but also how to communicate them in a way that they were understood by people from all different backgrounds, as well as all different stages of career in their life. So it is about the people. The people are the most important part of creating value and sustaining value. The second part is about problems. And by problems, there are problems everywhere, but figuring out problems that are worth solving is very important. And this is all about our markets and our customers. So, for TI, for example, it's a huge company. We have over 30,000 employees. Our revenue is over 15 billion. We are spread across multiple sites. We have 14 manufacturing sites in the entire world. And we have over 80,000 products and over 100,000 customers. So how do you really point yourself to the right direction over here? And that's where making sure we are able to look at markets, look at customers, listen to our customers and validate the information, and in turn come up with solutions that are well ahead of their times. For example, the cars today are way different than the cars from 5 years ago and from 10 years ago. But all the products that get used in the cars, while they're changing, they're not dramatically changing if you look at analog products. So being able to come up with an understanding of what the system level requirements are and how they can be included in very specific solutions, and planning for this over time is important. Some of our process technologies and packaging technologies take years in the making, for example. And by the time we're done making them, the applications would have changed. May not be the same way that the product would be applied as it was conceived for. So being able to do these in an environment where scale is important, and being able to understand where we have gaps in a very disciplined approach. And the disciplined approach is about being able to say yes to some things and no to some things in a way that we can turn it into, point ourselves into problems that are worth solving. The core piece is about the products themselves. And what are creative products? And this is where I want to talk about what actually happens in a semiconductor industry. Often we just think of ourselves as where electrical engineers go, but that's not the only thing that happens in the semiconductor industry. So the first part about creative products is knowing what's good enough. And this is the hardest part. To aim for something that's 100%, 100% is a very easy goal to outline or establish, because 100% is a very absolute number. But being able to decide when something's good enough, when you are trying to tape out a product or release a product, is the hardest part. So how do we go about it? So first of all, it's about understanding our systems, our equipment, our customers. This is where our systems engineers come into play, and define the product that will solve problems that the customers care about and what they will pay for. The second part is about making sure we have the right technologies in place. And this is where process, package, IP test, which includes a lot of different aspects of engineering beyond electrical engineering. It includes material science, it includes mechanical engineering, it includes understanding our manufacturing systems, making sure we define these technologies that are really applicable for the products that we are trying to make. And then there are design and verification engineers who make these products and who design the actual semiconductor products. And there are product and test engineers who make these products manufacturable. And then there's quality in manufacturing. So there are multiple disciplines, multiple org structures. And the leaders who enable diversity of thought in this environment through multiple org structures are key. So when you put all this together, that turns into creative products and combined with the mindset of continuous improvement, which is not the same as always trying to be 100%. Often we talk about, if you're 80% there, that's good. And that's also another hard goal. What do you mean 80% there? What does that actually mean? So again, tying it back to the problems that our customers are trying to solve and making sure we have the right quality and reliability. So to sum it all up, when I talk about people, products, and how they come together to provide innovative solutions, it is about delivering business value. And the value goes beyond returns to shareholders. How to do this and sustain it over time involves a very critical element of being able to assess and impact objectively and on a very frequent basis. So if you look at TI, for example, how many of you would think of TI as a calculator company? Everybody in the room. Everywhere I go, everyone talks about TI as a calculator company. But our history, in 30s we were an oil exploration company, in the 40s we were into defense systems, in the 50s, we were making ICs. In 70s, we did microprocessors too. And then in 80s, we were in DSP, DLP. And in 2000s, we developed the identity for analog and embedded processing, along with research in building labs. And today, we are all about doing our business in industrial and automotive segments, in personal electronics. This is what we develop our technologies for. And our revenue is split accordingly as well in automotive, industrial, personal electronics, communications, different markets. So why am I sharing all these numbers? We are engineers, we are about numbers, we are engineers with an entrepreneurial mindset, which is what we are trying to cultivate here. We are more about numbers all the time. The numbers are all pointing to the things that matter in terms of how people, products, and problems come together. The evolution of the company suggests that it required us to change. It required us to embrace change, embrace challenges, and make movements in our directions accordingly. And part of this involves starting new businesses, stopping some of the businesses that don't make sense anymore, knowing where you stand, and not being afraid to change. And a culture that fosters diversity and inclusion. Now, as I wrap up, I'll share another personal story. Since my younger one started looking for her college options, she was looking for engineering schools that could allow her to pursue her passion in arts and humanities as well. Now, this is very different from where I grew up, where I had to pick very early in my life whether I was going to pursue a science career or an arts career. This was at 10th grade. And then it turned into, at 12th grade, I had to decide if I'm going to do engineering or medical school. There were very limited options when you went to that phase. And the options of being able to combine multifaceted disciplines for an well-rounded education were limited. And to where we are today and to what you all are trying to do, that is absolutely fascinating. And how important it is to those students who make their choices today, and how prepared that makes them for a life in corporate environment like Texas Instruments, for example. It is about making products itself and make money, but it's also about how those products are made, who makes those products, and how we come together in a teaming environment to deliver value. So thank you. This takes a lot of sustained application over time, and I really appreciate all the things you're doing for making this. Thank you.